Hello friends, and welcome to tonight's review. We've cracked open the beer camp box, and we're going to be reviewing our first beer camp beer today. And first beer camp beer is going to be Chico King Pale Ale. This is the one that Sierra Nevada brewed in collaboration with Three Floyds Brewing in the Midwest. Three Floyds is based in Indiana. They're a very popular brewery out of the Midwest. They do not distribute to Hawaii, so this is probably as close as I'm going to get to a Three Floyds beer, unless I ever leave the islands, which is looking highly unlikely as I slip further and further into penury. So, let's go and read the back of this. Three Floyds has a reputation as the Midwestern kings of alpha hops, and it seems our flagship beer helped lure them down the lupulin-paved path. Chico King is a mashup of our mutual passion for hoppy pale ales, and we suspect you'll find it fit for royalty. So, as always, people will very nicely go and post the brewing notes for the beers. And so the bittering hops for this are the Mosaic hops and Eldorado hops, and the finishing hops are Eldorado, Citra, and Calypso hops. Malt is 2-row pales, Pilsner, and caramel malts. 45 IBU and 6.5 ABV, so kind of on the heavy side for a pale ale. But not as heavy as Zombie Dust, which is what Three Floyds is famous for. So why did I pick this one? Well, because it's the one that's been kind of getting meh reviews. So, let's see what my taste buds have to say about it. And to hell with everyone else's. I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it. I know, I love beer. I'm doing a shitty job of pouring this out. Okay. Ooh. So, it's a nice copper amber color. Some chill haze going on here. Looks nicely carbonated, with a nice thick foamy beige head. Interesting. Obviously the hops play the main role here. And they're kind of fruity hops, but underneath that, I'm kind of getting an odd smell of chocolate, almost porter-like notes from the nose. Granted, it's underneath the hops. Very grainy smell to it, too. It's not that strongly, the nose is not that strong. It's there, obviously. Expecting something a little bit more oomph, considering the reputation of both brewers. Quite different, though. I've never smelled a pale ale like this before. So kind of floral, kind of fruity hops with cereal malts. Underneath that, this odd smell of almost like porter-like chocolate and maybe a slight vinous quality. So, let's go and sip it. Wow, that is kind of odd. I actually kind of like this. There's some good balance to it. Now, obviously, the hops play a main role, but the malts are there and quite apparent as well. Excuse me, post-nasal drip a little bit. Yeah, I'm just kind of drinking it because I'm liking it so much. Okay, stop drinking so much and start thinking about how it tastes. So I can tell y'all how it tastes. Good mouthfeel. Mouthfeel kind of reminds me a little bit of Anchor Steam's mouthfeel. In that there's a coating quality to it, but there's also a bit of a mineral quality. Sort of a hoppy finish, but there's still kind of a malt feel to the finish. Still tasting a little bit of sweet malts and kind of graininess on my tongue too, even though the primary finish is sort of bitter finish. Mid palate has a very strong cereal grain sort of taste to it. More of a cereal grain than a sweet taste. And then sort of sends into that hop finish. The brief flash of citrus, grapefruit rind, or yeah, probably grapefruit rind. Front end is a bit juicy, not amazingly so. The front end also has a cereal note to it, but slightly different from the middle part of the palate. So I'd say the primary taste in the palates are hops, but underneath it has a strong malt backbone. I have to say, I'm fairly impressed. I like this a lot better than many other pale ales that I've tried. It's got a lot more substance to it. You know, good hop. Nice good hopping, complex hopping, but also a very strong malt backbone. So, despite this being often rated the weakest of the this year's beer camp selection, I'm quite impressed by it. Excuse me. I'm quite impressed by it, and quite happy. Another person in a review said, you know, this is kind of disappointing. It's almost like somebody made a flagship beer for, you know, a sort of mid-rate, craft brewer. And I have to say, if this was a flagship beer for somebody, I would freaking love them, because this is some pretty damn good beer, I have to say. You know, when I focused on it, I couldn't catch it, but it's like, when I don't focus on it, that chocolate kind of pops up on it. Pops up again. Let me see if I can... Yeah, it is weird. That's I guess why I like it. You know, it's kind of a shifting thing. I can't really put my finger on it. So, first beer camp review, Chico King Pale Ale. Despite the reputation it's got, you know, oh, look, there's even more things. This pale ale stacks plenty of bright, fruit-forward, resinous hop varietals atop a robust malt body. Pretty much what I said. Not getting too much resin out of it. I guess the finish is pretty resinous. I've always had trouble figuring out resin, because sometimes I think resin means it's sort of dank resin, sometimes I think it means pine resin. It's kind of two very different things. But I'm kind of rambling here. So, back to this thing. First beer of beer camp, Chico King. Bit of a reputation as a letdown by others. For me, pretty damn good start. Get yourself a beer camp box set while it's still out there. Prost.